Hi, Roscoe here. I'm going to do a PvP pet video. This is going to be my tier list. I'm going to try and reduce it to 30 kind of core main pets that I consider to be kind of the best tier 1 pets, like just tier 1. I don't want to expand it too much beyond that. Mostly because I don't really kind of think there needs to be a massive amount of pets that are tier 1, because it kind of dilutes the meaning of it, and also it kind of, you start including pets that are perhaps just okay or half decent in there, that perhaps shouldn't be up there. I'm also going to divide it into 3 sections of 30, of 5, 10 and 15, and that's because I think there's the top 5, I would say, are standalone, just there, out there, and then there's probably a bracket of about 10 that are also, they're kind of a little bit away from the rest. They are close to that top bracket, but not quite in the same kind of ballpark. And then there's the remaining kind of 15 that is where I'd like all the best bets to be. So the best bets are kind of a bit more balanced, opposed to just brokenly stupid. So, but yeah, I'll go through, and I would say the first 5, and even the first 10, but then the following 10 aren't the hardest to pick out. So I'll start with kind of the top 5 bracket, and the first pet there is the Terek hatchling, and whatever it is. And the reason for that is it is so overpowered and so broken, and solely because of Nature's Ward and its dodge ability. Nature's Ward and backline healing is too strong in its current state. It's as simple as that. And having a dodge on a fast pet is very, very strong and very, very good. Terek is a flyer, so it's generally fast until that flying ratio is gone. So it's very good to have this combination. The best way to play the Terek is do some damage, dodge a bit, Nature's Ward, swap to the back, heal back up, rinse and repeat until your opponents are taken out. And likely, if you do that, you're going to take them out fairly quickly and fairly easily. It takes a little bit of skill to play. I mean, in that you just need to swap it to the back to heal. In that is the only skill you need. Other than that, very simple to play. If you've got crazy win percentage with Terek in your team, it doesn't really mean you're very good. It just means that Terek is very good. How to play it badly: keep it in, lose its racial, and just keep it in. The best way to play this is to swap it out and maintain the flying racial, so that you maintain the boost to dodge, the buff to the alpha strike damage. It's easy to do. Fairly straightforward and simple tactic. Just maintain its racial by swapping it to the back line. Do I like the Terek? If it was balanced, it would be awesome. If backline healing was, say, 60%, 70% of what it is, of what it is now, then I think it'd be more in line. Or if it had something like refuge instead of dodge, again, much more in line with other pets. And it wouldn't gimp it for PvE, but if people care about that. The next pet is obvious as well. Let's get all of these up. Is the Bone Serpent. This pet, if I was kind of saying that Terek is quite simple to play, this is really simple. It's kind of just like whack-a-mole, as in like, as long as you start with Bone Barrage and actually read the tooltips, then you're going to be fine. As in, like, Bone Barrage is your priority move, unless it can secure a kill or something, then you will be fine. And read the tooltips. And when I say that, I mean, make sure you have Cool Darkness up before your Nocturnal Strike, so that you do not miss your Nocturnal Strike. Against Elementals, different story, but basically, Cool Darkness makes that always hit, apart from Elementals under Cool Darkness. If they're blinded some other way, Flash, Poison, then you could do it, but it'd be a weird way to get that off. The breeds, because this one actually does have some choices, in that you could choose the different breeds. So, the two that I would stick to is either the SS or the HH. Now, when and why would I choose different ones? I would choose the SS if I was facing a lot of slower pets than 292, so 289 slower. And if I was facing loads of quick pets like, I don't know what's quicker, like Scourge Basilisk or something like that, then I'd go the HH, because that stat of speed is actually going to be wasted and not exchanged to have the health of the health. As a rule, if you had to pick one just for general, go for the SS. But they're very close, especially because the speed of the meta, when it gets competitive, definitely goes up. So if it goes up to really competitive teams, then the threshold actually goes past that, and then it's just wasted. And that's the only kind of argument I guess people are like, but I only face 289 pets all the time. Well, then run SS. But when the meta gets competitive, I think HH can pull ahead. The next pet is another undead, because the undead is the strongest racial by quite a distance, and it is a Wicked Soul. This pet has amazing utility, being so fast with a haunt is just insane. It's downright broken. The other haunt pets were strong, and it's strong and frustrating to play against them, but you would be more often than not be able to do something, put a dot up, get a hit off, put something, I don't know, put a cooldown up, do something. The cooldowns wouldn't really matter, because you're after anyway, but get a hit off essentially, or dodge or something. More often than not, you now can't do that with the Wicked Soul, because it is faster than the majority of pets, so they can always get that haunt off, so you always have to play reactively to it. Unless you have a priority move, you always have to get someone defensive up, choose the pet to take the damage. Whereas before, you could choose, you're still going to take the damage, but at least you could be have an offensive attack, and that you could maybe get a dot up, or maybe dodge or something on a slower pet. That is just taken out of the equation with the Wicked Soul. What other abilities other than the Haunt do I take? I would take Haunting Song. As I said, the utility of this pet is amazing. You haunt, you come back, you Haunting Song, then you probably haunt again, and then just rinse and repeat. The Haunting Song is a great ability. It's nearly like a 660 heal, really good. Obviously it is diminished once your team is diminished down, and then I would definitely stick to the Shadow Shock. A lot of people sort of, in my mate, have started playing Ghostly Bite, but it's funny because when you end up with 2 pets against them at the end, they're just stumped, or they're just stuck, because they run Haunting Song, Ghostly Bite. They can get a Ghostly Bite off every 3 rounds, and they're stunned for one of them, and they heal, and then they're just like, oh no, I can't do anything, I'm just stuck. So stick to Shadow Shock, and you will be fine. The next pet is probably one of the more frustrating pets to play against. There's a small kind of collect group of pets that are really frustrating to play, because their playstyle is not predominantly heal based, and kind of like chipping and etching away damage, and they are frustrating. There's a stigma now associated with sunlight, and the sunlight photosynthesis is overpowered because of the backline healing that I mentioned. In that backline healing is too strong in its current itineration, and it needs to be nerfed, probably down to 70% of 70% of what it is now, so a 30% nerf perhaps, because it's just too strong with the sunlight, and having that twice as effective, it's just too strong. It just really is. And then also having a defensive ability is really difficult to play against as well. So this is why this pet is seen as frustrating to play against, because most of the time, and there is a similar pet actually, and they are going to class them the same, Vu and Bottom Nation. So if you haven't got $10 or pounds or euros or whatever, however it works out, then you could just roll a druid and get this guy from a June Grave. I don't know how, so I don't have a plan to go and get it, but you could get this if you really wanted to frustrate players, and some people do it deliberately. Oh well, I beat them deliberately. Then the final kind of pet in this top group is the Fiendish Imp. And this pet has been massively affected by the Wicked Soul, because the Wicked Soul is quicker, so it can get its hits off first, get the haunt off first. So it's massively damaged the Fiendish Imp. But having one strong pet against you doesn't mean that you're suddenly bad. And this pet is still amazing. It's amazing for 2 reasons, predominantly anyway. The Navigate, being so fast, generally you can go first. You can choose your matchups. You can also choose when to port out an opponent, so if an opponent popped a damage increase cooldown, just navigate them out. It's a perfect situation. Opponent puts in a strong pet against you, just navigate them out. And Immolation is the other part that makes this pet so strong. It's doing around kind of 650-ish, 650 damage from the back line, and healing up the imp at the same time. Again, backline healing is overtuned, because each tick gives 4% of its health back. So you're going to get a lot. I mean, kind of getting, probably if you're on the back line, you're going to get about 30% of the health, probably. Saving time you'll be on the front line as well. And it's just ridiculous. It's just too strong to be doing damage and getting that amount of healing back. But and that's why it's up there. in the kind of esteemed company of those other pets. Now the second bracket down, and these are kind of like more of a group of 10 pets that I've put them into. These are all still very, very strong. Most of the time they're just going to be able to sweep through teams, maybe kind of solo teams on their own, and kind of take out teams and stuff like that. The first pet I'm going to say is the Ventral Porker pet. It's just, once it's quicker, and usually it's only a couple of power balls or so, unless you're against flyers. It is so good with the Spirit Spikes. Essentially, Spirit Spikes not only protect you from damage, and you're going to be dealing that damage for that round because people will attack into it. Well, how can you predict it unless they get fortunate, and then they won't attack for a round, because why would you deliberately attack into someone to get 309 damage and your attack reduced 154, and then flank is obviously buffed by the speed. If that was flowy, this pet would be in the top tier bracket again, in the top 5, and I'd have to find which one of the pets to take out, but it's got flank, still stronger ability. Once the Beast Facial Pox, this guy's just insane. Counters the meta really hard as well. But yeah, just perhaps the Powerball, the Spirit Spikes combo, and it's just the self synergy it has is just insane. The next pet is another one that has actually really been kind of negatively affected by the Bone Serpent Scourge, and that is the Emperor Crab. Now, the Emperor Crab can solo teams on its own really easily, because it's got the damage reduction, it's got a big heal, and it's got the defensive priority move that hits fairly hard and take out most pets in 5 turns. 5 turns because most pets have 1400 health, and it would take them out in that time. Usually you would probably want to run Healing Wave on this, and then Shell Shield, just to be kind of super tanky. What you can do if you're running a swap heavy team is run Renewing Mists, and then when you want to swap, if you've got this rolling, you can swap. The swap isn't gonna, you are going to get penalised for swapping, but hopefully you're going to kind of reduce the damage or penalty you're going to take with at least a tick or so of Renewing Mists. A really nice kind of combination is popping this and then swapping into a rabbit and then dodging, because you get all that healing then essentially, whilst you've got your avoidance up, so you're getting some healing back up, and then you can start doing damage. And that's a really nice combination of the Renewing Mist. But if you're a high swapping team, the Renewing Mist could be the more preferable to run. The next pet is another one that can just take out teams so easily, and it's Orphan Tailbat. It has self synergy. Most of these pets have an insane amount of self synergy, which is why they're up here. That's with a Fell Immolate and Black Claw, and you're exceptionally quick, and you're a flyer. And then you have a heal as well, so you could get these rolling, heal, and then refresh them, just keeping them up. Anyone that swaps against this guy is going to be massively punished by the DOT damage. It would be these abilities that I'd run it with for the kind of the best effectiveness. The next pet, and I haven't mentioned it one go earlier, is the rabbit. I would almost certainly go SS. That is a Right. All these guys. I'm going to include the Noble Garden Bunny. It's a cool pet to use because it has a slight bit more power, and quite often the speed is wasted on these. So you're essentially just exchanging speed for power. Can kind of pay off sometimes, but failing that, just go with any kind of SS rabbit. Don't kind of mess around with any of the others, because then you start dropping into suboptimal speed, and then you start potentially being able to lose matchups, and if you're slow on a rabbit, you really start losing out. And then the best build is flurry, dodge, and burrow. So you can kind of flurry, that's dodge, and you can kind of reduce the amount of hits you take really quite substantially. There's only one other pet that has kind of that stupid amount of avoidance or mitigation, and is actually further down on my list. And yeah, it's just a solid choice. Quick pet. It will struggle against kind of shields and stuff like that, or humanoids. But other than that, it's a pet that it can be a great kind of sweeper pet. If you've got this left, and you kind of can time the dodges and the burrows and things, you can take out pets because you can avoid attacks and kind of just finish off low health pets. Another pet, and there's a whole load of these, or there's two of these as well, so there's the Taipan and the Death of a Hatchling. So these guys are essentially the same. Well, essentially they're the same where it matter anyway. So you would want to run Poison Fan, Puncture Wound, and Blinding Poison, and it is the SS of either of these you would want to run. The reason for that is the SS utilises Blinding Poison best, because you'll be able to get that off first more often than not. So you get it off first, the opponent is then blinding and missing or wasting 2 turns. They're wasting the turn, get it off, and then the following turn. And this is the synergy here with the Puncture Wound. You can Poison Fang. The strength is with the mind games of this pet though. Everyone knows, and people know that you're going to be running Blinding Poison. So if you're facing a Haunter or something, they're not going to haunt that straight away because they know you've got that Blinding Poison. So you can maybe Poison Fang, or maybe you will Blinding Poison. That's the doubt. You get into the opponent's mind, what they're going to do. They don't want to waste their haunt, but if they Blinding Poison, you're going to be able to Poison Fang the next turn, and then Punch Wound you, and then they're going to be stuck. And it's just that kind of indecision can really, especially the time, the timed turns, puts people under pressure. They'll make a poor decision, and you can hopefully jump on that and make a better one, or force a decision that they wouldn't want. The other good aspect of this is the Poison Fang means you can get dots up on several pets, because sometimes people swap and stuff like that against it, and that's where it really shines. And also the Puncture Wound synergy between its 2 other abilities is very, very good, and once its racial is popped, this hits extremely hard as well. Next pet is another beast, one that's kind of underrated, I think. Let's go to that similar. It's the Alpine Foxling. In regards to kind of the tier pets and their speed, it isn't up there, but it does have a speed buff. Not only does it buff its own speed for 9 rounds, which a 9-round speed buff just for the soul of the pet on itself would be great. It would be awesome to have that. Buffs the whole team for 9 rounds. And then you've got an attack that is buffed by increased speed and the crouch as well, which is great, and this is great against a couple of the most popular pets in the Bone Serpent and Terek. Dazzling Dance makes you quicker, flowy, kind of crouch. The Bone Serpent is weak against critical damage, so you're so good. The strength in this, though, is the Dazzling Dance. It makes average pets good, because speed is such a massive thing in the meta at the moment. You could have just an average normal pet. So if we went for this, Lovebird Hatchling, yeah, it's quick already, but the speed ensures you get your Love Shock off first, ensures your Alpha Strike goes first, most of the time. I mean, it obviously won't every time, but most of the time you can get that off. Or what else do I have to immediately look at? There we go. It ensures you get your dodge off first, ensures you get your club off first, it ensures you dive first. And it's those kind of things that, and yeah, it ensures you phase punch first, ensures you can arcane slash first and do much more damage. It's those kind of things that make this pet insane, to be honest. If it just had a speed increase on its own, it would still be good, but it'd just be like a lot of those other kind of 3, 4, 1 speeds. But that Dazzling Dance just really separates it from the other pets because of the team-wide buff, and its own strength once it's up. It's very good, especially against the Bone Serpents. It's one of the Bone Serpent killers for sure. The next pet is another one that's actually good against Bone Serpents, and that is the Ghastly Kid. It's another haunt pet, but this one is slightly slower than the Wicked Soul, so how come it's still good? And it's got a lot of health, but the Valk's got a lot of health, and it's got a better attack power. It's pretty average looking kind of pet. How is this so highly rated? It's so highly rated because of these two abilities. These and the out of these anyway, the Haunt makes it great. Obviously, makes it very, very good. This makes it into a top tier 1 pet. Firmly puts it up in this kind of second group of top tier 1 pets. In the you're second guessing what ability it has. You don't know what to do. If you face it with another Haunter, do you haunt? What if they ethereal? They could always haunt straight back. They could consume magic. And they're going to be strong damage against me as well. It's the same with loads of things as well. A good way to counter haunt is mines. What if they consume magic it off? We could blind it. What if they ethereal the blind and they're going to take the haunt? You could just consume magic the blind as well, and the subsequent damage. And not knowing what it has here is so important, and it's so difficult to know, because if you're playing like a Imp Soul, if you're a scumbag, you could be like, yeah, I know what I do. I'll just horn, and then before we consume magic, I'll port him out. Job done. But then they run ethereal. You haunt into the ethereal, and then you're sat there. You're going to take a haunt or something, or some hoofs. I mean, what are you going to do? So that's why this guy is just insane, insanely good. It's great It's a great counter pet because of these abilities. Again, much like the blind on the Taipan or the Death Adder Hatchling, it's that indecision. You've got a set amount of time to make a decision in regards to what do you do against this guy, what does your opponent do against you. So that's why it's up there for me. And you kind of give yourself so many options as well. Obviously, if you lose the mind games, it maybe won't work out so well. It does have that high health pool to perhaps allow you to make a mistake in a game and possibly recover, depending on how tough the meta is. I mean, if you're facing kind of like another top level pet or team, you're not gonna probably make a comeback. The next pet in this kind of next bracket down is a brand new one. It's the Fell Afflicted Skyfin. Now, I know a lot of people that have got a big fixation on this speed, and it's too slow. No, not having that. Way too slow. This 244. It's not viable. It's a flyer, so it's actually going to be quicker than anything that isn't a flyer until it loses its racial. So it's not the biggest of deals, and how I play it, and this might not be the best way, but it's how I play it anyway. If you're interested, is I did, and this is possibly what people were doing, and it didn't work out for me at all. I started by trying to get both off, swapping out, and then trying to get both off again, and I was losing my racial, and it just wasn't working. Now I Fell Immolate, Wing Buffet, Fell Immolate, Wild Magic, and then you're probably going to run down. But doing that works out really, really well for me. That's a lot of damage. The Fell Immolate is what, 600-ish, just shy of 600. Then so that's just over 300. So that's 900 damage between those two. And then you're getting this up as well on another opposing pet. So you're talking, was that 600, did I say, for 4 rounds? So if we said another 900 damage, almost 1,000 damage, and the opponent's got the Wild Magic buff up on them, debuff up on them, that's 1,800 damage. They cost 2 pets. One's got the debuff up. They might have to swap. You're just getting a free shot off on a pet. But yeah, if you think it's too slow still, obviously it does struggle against flyers, especially the Terek. But you could put a lot of the tier 1 pets. You could put a whole range of them up in that bracket that struggle against the Terek, because the Terek is that good. But against so many pets, this is going to be amazing, especially if you can get something else that works with the Wild Magic. Then you're going to cause a lot of problems to opposing teams. I wouldn't run it with Darkness though, because you're so reliant on that wing buffet. And also choose your matchup, so if it's a bad opposing or bad pet to perhaps start with and take a hit from, maybe just swap them out. And if you can, maintain the ratio as well. Obviously it's better than not. But yeah, it is very, very good. If played perhaps in a tactical way, and not just one. You can't run 1v1. Don't try and 1v1. It's not that type of pet. It's a lot like the Rose Taipan, in that there's no point in trying to 1v1. So that's how I would play and go with it. The next pets are flyers again. I know what I should do. I should go. Now I'm going to put all these Darkness birds are going to be all grouped into one big lot because they're all good. I'm going to talk about the 2 best types of pets. So I would either go for the SS Crow, the SS, there's an owl that's SS as well, long-eared owl, possibly. I'd stick to the Crow as the preference, because it slightly edges it with the speed and the alpha strike and stuff. But go with the pure SS's, or there's a PP. There's a couple of PPs technically. There's this one that's okay, but it would be this and the Crow would be the main two. If I had to stick to some that I would go, and that's just because this hits so hard, and the Crow, and so I think you roughly get about the same kind of damage off on both, but the Crow is quicker afterwards. So this is Racial's more important, but getting those 2 hits off is massive damage. Wow. It's like 1,200 damage. You can probably follow it up with a Savage Talon. It is a glass cannon, but that is crazy damage. And the Crow works in a similar way, but hopefully you stay quicker and can kind of get more of these hits off. But it just kind of depends. If you're facing a fast team, you could lose more. Cool. And the last, and this is another group of pets actually. Was it a couple of pets? The Blazehound and the Magma Rageling. Now I've separated the traps out. Now I was gonna put the lag in here, and maybe I should just put all the elemental traps in together, just for ease. I think for my ease and for your guys' ease. Why are these different to the others? Because these guys don't miss in darkness, so you haven't got the double chance to miss of the application and then the activation, and that is why I put the Warbot up in the next bracket below. Or have I? Yeah, so how do I rank these in this kind of mini section? I'll probably get Blazehound, Magma Raging, a little lag. What moveset would I go with? Obsidian Bite, Retrieve, Magma Trap, and the SB, because the Retrieve could be useful to swap out pets. Magma Trap is an overpowered ability because of the interrupt and then the subsequent stun. The interrupt is very strong. What you would really want or need would be perhaps to take away the damage part of the trap, and it's still going to be good, but at least you're not going to be taking damage. The only thing is then critters will just laugh at it. Then I go Magma Rageling, and top tip for this guy is actually run it on a flag team. Get the chance, because it synergizes really well actually, because the Flamethrower, Flame Jet both can put burns down, and then the Magma Trap is very strong. And then Rag, famously the hardest hitting pet, has Sons of a Flame, that's just quite cool. Magma Trap, I probably wouldn't ever run Flag and Flamethrower on this pet. There's just better options to go for with that combo if you wanted it. And I also wouldn't ever run Magma Wave on any of these, because they're too slow to actually make it a viable move and ability with the trap. What do I mean by that? They're more often than not going to go second. You lose the interrupt bonus from the trap, and you just get the stun, and it devalues the trap to being just like an interrupt, really. Just like, or no, just a stun. It's like, okay, great. Whereas the interrupt and stun is where it is at. And these guys hit hard as well, both of these. So that is the kind of the top 15, and that's like, so that's the second section of the pets, kind of the next level of pets. This next kind of 15 is where I'd like all the pets to be, because they're still good and they're still obviously standout pets, but there's much less of a distinction between these pets and kind of the ones below. So they are the autumnal sproutling and the nightshade sproutling. I'll kind of combine these because they share a lot of abilities, and they also have some slightly different things, but they kind of benefit as well. So on the quicker ones, we want to go Lash. This has got the better option, the Cool Darkness, Nature's Ward, and then the quick option, the Blinding Poison, is the better option. But then when you go down to the PP, it kind of turns on its head massively. This has actually got a viable attack compared to the Nightshade Sproutling. Poison Lash isn't viable, and Lash isn't viable, but Club is. Nature's Ward is still viable. It's still the one I'd probably go with. You could go viable on this. Blinding Poison is not viable, but the Sons of the Voot is. The Sons of the Voot is viable on the SS as well. So I've lumped them in together. They do similar things, but they do different things, and they can both be very, very good. And the Autumnal Sprout is just like a healing monster, and on the PP, and actually has a viable attack, unlike the Nightshade Sproutling. But yeah, I've kind of grouped those together because I didn't want to separate them, because they share a lot of the abilities. They could basically be the same pet. Just gives you some more options. The next pet is a Darkness pet. Darkness is the strongest weather effect. Frost Fur-Rat. It's going to be the Frost Fur-Rat. Specifically the SS. However, is a similar pet, the Blind Rat, and that comes in an SS as well. But it's slightly slower, and this one isn't tier 1. It's good. It is a good pet, and it is similar, but it isn't tier 1, and the speed separates it. This speed allows you to be quicker than Wicked Souls, and that, them being so prevalent in the meta, is a big deal, and that all it is. And there's a couple of other pets like Imps who are quicker than. That's the only thing that separates it. Having Flow is a great multi-return attack. The Crouch and the Cool Darkness is very useful. The Weather Change effect is a great ability to have. Next on my list is another pet with a weather changing effects. But this one has synergy with a lot of kind of different teams. Gerrys Answer is most commonly used with clone dance teams that utilise the crit chance and hit chance of Rain Dance with Cyclone. Also works really well with aquatic pets as well, because it buffs the damage. But it's just a very good pet because it's quick. It's not super quick, but it's quick enough. It hits super hard with the Rain Dance Steam Bolt and Acid Rain. I mean, you can crit 700-800 once these are all up against non-elemental, and then you can kind of like one-shot elemental pets. I've had pets swap into crits and just disappear. And I'm sure I had a Rag do it, just came in, just gone. And the kind of the the usefulness with the clone dance teams as well, with the rain dance. Works well. Also works well against kind of your nocturnal strike teams and stuff like that. Spectral strike, any of those kind of blind teams and weather effect teams, and it has its own weather change ability, which is really cool. Now, I did mention when I mentioned the rabbit that is a pet that has better avoidance. It has different avoidance, and it can potentially in like a 1v1 avoid more. If people are swapping out, the dodge could be better to avoid like a field effect. But if you're facing the same opponent, the blind does the same kind of thing. So this guy, the results are quite reliant on Chomp. Other than that, it is so difficult to get hits off on this guy if you're slower anyway, because blinding powder 3 rounds, so the first round, the round you apply it, you dodge. The following round, you can then burrow. You then get a hit, and then I'm pretty sure blinding powder's back. Rinse and repeat, and then chomp away or whatever. It's strong. It's very strong. And I have gone against teams and just kind of taken out 2 out of the 3 pets with this guy, just not taking many hits and avoiding. There are 2 builds as well that I would go. I'd probably never go jab, just because of there's not many dragons and there's a lot of undeads. But I'd go chomp, blinding powder, and then there's 2, so I could go offensively with the bow, or defensively with the smoke bomb. I'd probably go bow. You're not going to get hit too much, but if you wanted to play defensively for whatever reason, or needed like a team defense, then yeah, go smoke bomb. You can kind of utilise that because it not only affects you, it affects the team as well. So there is that there. The next pet is another one that has some great self synergy. That's the Highjowl Wisp. I think it is the only magic pet that's in this top 30. There is one I mentioned, but this is the only one that's actually in this group. It's so strong because it has a ramp up ability, but it has survivability as well. So that combo means that you're going to be hitting your max arcane blasts and surviving a long time. So you'd ramp up that, be able to dodge and weave dodges with the wish, and kind of do a lot of damage. But you can also play a different way, and that you could use this wish on your other pets to kind of heal them back up. If you've got high health pets, it can really benefit them. But yeah, if you can kind of dodge, you can get a lot of hits off. And it's another pet that you can at least take out 1 or maybe 2 pets with, because you're kind of dodging and wishing and things like that. They're not getting the hits off, or you're healing and you're taking those hits, and you're kind of hitting maxed out 350 damage. And that is the spec, or the build I would go is Arcane Magic, Evanescence, and the Wish. The next pet would be a great counter to that. Probably not that great, but fairly one of the better ones would be the Warbot. Now, the strength of this pet is the power of it, and the ability to do things when your opponent is dodging or doing things when you can't hit them, which is probably going to be quite a lot on a 260 pet. Against Haunters, Minefield is the way to go, especially against Wicked Souls or Valks. And then you can missile and extra plating and just kind of spam missile. Missile hits really hard, so you can generally take out a pet with this, and if you survive long enough, maybe get another minefield off. And if you can, you've done really well, and you're probably gonna win the battle. I wouldn't mess around with batter, toxic smoke, or rocket, or launch rocket, because I think the value is in these. So missile, just spam will attack. Minefield, because it punishes swapping, and it's a really good kind of horn counter, especially on a hard hitting pet. And then the extra plating is just mitigation. If you're going to take that horn, if you have a way to mitigate it, that's awesome as well. The next pet is another frustrating pet to play against, and that's the Magical Crawdad. It's a very defensive pet because 4 of its abilities, and you can choose pure defensive abilities, cause it to be able to survive for ages. And quite often, if you have kind of like a multi-attack pet or something like that, or speed-based pet, probably won't win. Because it's got high health pool, so that wish heals for like 900 health, 950. The shell shield can kind of reduce your damage massively, or you can get miss going, and then the surge is gonna cut in half potentially your damage as well. I would almost certainly run surge on it and wish, and then it's kind of up to you. Again, if you're swapping a lot, maybe renewing miss. A lot of people generally use this pet to just tank damage and then just get heals off from their other pets. It is a frustrating pet to play against because you need something that's going to counter it or do well against it, and that isn't always the case on some teams that you have that. Another aquatic pet, and this is a bit more of a fun one, is that the Purple Puffer. It's a bit of a rare pet because I think it's a card game one, but it's a PP, and it's got the hardest hitting pump in the game. I'm assuming just on its own, because maybe one of the Striders with the Cleansing Rain could hit harder because it'd have self-synergy, but the pump on its own is obviously hardest hitting. Has a good, nice strong heal, and the surge is great, but I generally go surge even though pump because of this is slow speed. The surge does hit hard, and again it messes with multi-attack speed-based pets, and the heal is really a nice big heal. It's useful to optimise, and then if speed doesn't matter, you can just constantly spam pump, because it's going to do substantially more damage. And actually spamming pump is going to be better than even using water jet. And you just bear in mind as well that if you use that first one, you actually increase your damage by 10%. So it can be worth any downtime you have to pump and then get that surge going again, or you can then pump if there's any kind of downtime between the two moves. And the last one is the final horn pet. There's loads. This is the Unborn Valk. It's still really, really good because it has the horn, has the opportunity to get the Curse of Doom off as well. So you can kind of chuck that up, a horn, and then just be coming back. And because they've both got relatively high health pools, if I was gonna stick with one, I'd probably go with the HH, because if and when you come back in, it is something you can kind of use to go head to head against another pet and quite often win because of the racial and the high health pool. So that's why I would go that, and I would nearly always go Haunt, Curse of Doom, and then just one of these two. Probably Shadow Shock, because of the damage spread is that little bit more. Yeah, you can maybe hit low, but you can always hit high as well. So, but those two are the two that I'd definitely go. You just need to be careful as well, because a lot of Valk players play them extremely predictably. So don't be that kind of player. Don't just try and like cast all your stuff on cooldown, and perhaps be a bit smarter about it, because all the Unborn Valk players I play just waste their haunts and stuff into the stupidest of things, like into dodges, into blinds all the time. So don't do that, because it's really valuable not to. And we've got that high health pool on them as well. You can afford to take hits, and you can afford just to give them out. I mean, if you're going to go head to head, you're going to win most of the time, as the opponent has dodges and stuff like that, and or dodges or like a good heal. Next pet is another one that is really popular with, I think, kind of like PvEers and like newer players. That I think he's really good in PvE. If you want to do that, if you want to PvE, then you can. But I think a lot of people kind of bring him over, and he is good. I mean, he's just a tank. I would nearly always run Crash, Sandstorm, and Deflection. People seem to run Rupture on it occasionally. I'm actually relieved when they cast that, because then it means I can kind of use my cooldowns. I'm not kind of dancing around a deflection that might be there. So I would nearly always go Deflection, because you're slower. I mean, if someone uses like a wind up, then is it Powerball? Wind up Supercharge, you can deflect that. You can Rupture, maybe stun him if it's not on cooldown. And also your big cooldown, you could miss in Sandstorm, so there's that as well. It doesn't work too well. Yeah, maybe you miss your Crush, but it's a spammable attack. If you miss your Rupture, you've got another 4 rounds before that comes back up. So that's what I would run. And it's just a tank, and you can go head to head with a lot of pets, and more often do well. And if you get lucky with the RNG as well, if you can kind of get your opponent to miss, then you're probably going to be able to beat them. Now, a pet that needs lucky RNG is the Diehorns. Now these are kind of like the RNG kings. Now the abilities that you want to take, don't look at Trihorn Shield, Stampede, none of these. Don't waste your time. You want to go Primal Cry, Horn Attack, Trihorn Charge. And why do I say that they're RNG? Well, this ability, yeah, it goes first. It has an 85% hit chance. It's a little bit defensive, so you don't need this defensive. You've got your priority move to take a little bit less damage. And you've got your Primal Cry, because that reduces speed of all the opponent's pets. So if you can get this out whilst all the opponent's pets are up as well, it's really valuable to do so. Or even if you've got nothing better to take the Horn, you get this off when you're getting haunted. If you're going quicker than the pets that are going to come in. And then finally Horn Attack. RNG as well, in that you can stun the opponent if you're quicker. You're running a Primal Cry, probably going to be quicker, so you've got 50% chance of stunning. Now the property, or the builds that I would go, would be, I would use the PP, or the Stunted Direhorn, the Pygmy Direhorn, or possibly the HH. I mean, that would be like if you didn't have these, So if you didn't PvP for whatever reason, shame on you. If you didn't have, you will have this. So go with this. If you don't have this, why would I not go with this all the time? Occasionally, this could be better for the speed. Another one, the next one that is going to be up in the tier list is, it's not only this as a whole kind of raft, so it's the kind of ore eaters and crushers. The best would probably be SS and perhaps a PS. The HH is okay as well because you get a lot of healing, but SS is always awesome. That PS is good as well. I mean, they're all good. Probably the SS is best, but the reason they're so good is you can acid touch. You got the dot kind of ticking. Then when you shell shield, that dot is still ticking, so your humanoid racial is going off. And then you got that hard hitting body slam that won't actually do any damage to you while shell shielded up. Then you can acid touch and then perhaps just swap out. Get your healing back up from your humanoid racial. Come in, mince and repeat. And that is why it's so strong. And yeah, there's a whole load of different ones you can go with. And yeah, SS, PP, HH is the kind of ones I'd go with. PS. I wouldn't go with any of these BBs or PBs, SBs. Probably wouldn't even go HP. But yeah, they're all much the kind of the same pets as well, really. Next one is Spirit Crab on HH. Don't mess around with HS because essentially you're just wasting stats in speed instead of health because it's an extremely slow pet as it is. This pet is great. It really is awesome against Terek. Has some good utility as well. It's good synergy. I would generally Surge's ability I'd generally always run, and then the rest of it is up to you and to what team you're using and what you're facing. So if you're perhaps running over some critter damage, maybe use Rot, or facing a lot of imps and kind of dot teams, Shell Shield. And if you've got like a really hard hitting ability like the Twilight Clutch Sister or something, maybe use Amp Magic when you're undead round, and then you get the hard hitting ability off with 50% proc, or Procuration, then get it off. You really want the 100% damage boost. So that would be pretty awesome. And yeah, it's kind of up to you, but the Surge defensive ability, and then it's kind of up to you from where you go from there. The next page one I mentioned is the Warbot pup. I've kind of mentioned about the traps. The reason it's just below is because it can miss under darkness, and that's the sole reason. Missing under darkness has 2 chances because you're not an elemental. Other than that, it hits hard and it works best with blue teams. Just see kind of like disco doggies, kind of like every 5th video he'll have a bleed team, so just drop this guy into there and one of the team that he's using, and this guy will do well. Disco loves and plays bleed teams really well. The next pet is the Iron Starlet. Now I did debate whether to put this in or not, I decided two, for a couple of reasons. One, I don't really play it too much. I've not played it for a while, but when I play against people, they always take Toxic Smoke, or don't use Powerball, or do, but only as kind of like something to do when they're not winding up or something. They don't use it how they should, basically. You should Powerball until you're quicker, unless you get a great opportunity, and then you're in a position to be able to kind of wind up and supercharge, or supercharge wind up, and have the control of being quicker, and that's the best way to play it. And the two breeds are PP or PP or HH. They're the two options I would go with. HP maybe, but if I was going to choose, it'd be one of those two for sure. And yeah, don't mess around with Toxic Smoke. And the last pet that has made it in is Blight Breath, because it has the best kind of sustained AoE in the game, and it is an undead, so it can kind of get it off a little bit longer. It's got this Acid Rain Dreadful Breath combo, and that lends itself to aquatic pets as well, so that is a bit meh. It's probably go Toxic Smoke, because on occasion you may need to just get a single attack off, but most of the time it's just that, and then spam that the whole time. Maybe use that again, depending on whether any weather change effects have happened. So that's the top 30 kind of best pets. There is kind of like a big group of pets, especially towards the end there, like the Starlet and the Blight Breath, that there's other pets that I definitely considered going in. I'll quickly go through them. I'm not going to kind of go through in much detail. So Dibbler is one that I looked at, one of the new pets. Probably not played it enough though to make a definite decision. But it kind of has a priority move, defensive priority move, but a strong one. The clamp and stuff like that. But I think it's a bit too gimmicky. Another magic pet that actually could have made it in very easily is the Void Shardling. It has a ramp up ability similar to the Wisp and then Soul Rush. What kind of made it lose out is it doesn't have the survivability, so yeah, you can get a Soul Rush off. With Wish you can probably get 2 Arcane Blasts off. Maybe, yeah, 25% of the time Soul Rush would pay off, but the rest of the time it wouldn't. A pet that is really unlucky to not make it in here, or make it in there, was a Silver Dragonhawk Hatchling. Extremely quick and amazing once you racial procs, and great on conflag teams. It's one of the better conflag pets because of the speed. Gives you the option to kind of get at least some damage off on some of these quicker pets, especially the Haunters. It's probably my favourite dragon pet, I would say, for sure. Actually, yeah, it's my favourite dragon pet, and it does well against rabbits actually as well, so that puts a smile on my face for sure. Another pet, and the Gleamy Fawn PP, the only one, and this guy hits hard and can just heal on the back line and heal up your pets as well, or you could run a headbutt. Just a hard hitting pet, similar to the Terraclaw. The backline healing is just broken, which is why it's even being considered. The Fairy Dragon, probably the SS I would go with. So you have the dodge, you can kind of charge up, And then it works well on cyclone teams, this guy, because you can dodge and get this off and then swap. Or you can run Moonfire as well. There's some cool Moonfire teams that you can run with this guy. Another pet that's pretty unlucky not to make it in is the Jungle Beak. Can kind of like 3-shot people if you rain dance and then just Nocturnal Strike and peck crits. But it's a bit of a glass cannon, and if you can survive that, it's generally, once his racial's gone, it's just stumped, it's just stuck. Bit of like a favourite of a lot of people, if I spell it right, Wormy Tumpkins. Jar Smelly Liquid and like Weakness. I think there's another similar kind of thing. There might not be, but I don't like these abilities because if you're slower than this pet, it's just broken. So maybe they will need to have a 2-round cooldown. So at least it is a round where you're doing normal damage. But Burp hits hard. Corrosion is, if you're quicker, it just hits hard, and it can kind of like can 1v1 counters to it, which that if they're slower, that suggests perhaps he's looking into. Talked about one of the imps. Rebellious Imp is a cool pet. It didn't make it in, and it probably wouldn't quite make it in because the speed would have been best. The speed is best. But you can, if you use it offensively, so the Immolation and Portal, get that portal damage offensively, is nearly a K's worth of damage you can get out just for sitting on the back line. But once that pet's to the front, it's so slow, and it's just can just be taken down by quicker pets quite easily. There's the Twilight Clutch Sister, and it's just from because it has Twilight Meteorite. That tooltip is correct. It does do 772 damage split, and I think that maybe they must have got the numbers wrong on that, because that is insane. It's just silly numbers, because it just hits insanely hard, and especially if you pop the racial. And I know my buddy Michael Leo has been running it with a speed increaser, so you can get that for the block. But yeah, but it's not in there just because it's other kind of abilities, but a bit meh. It's just like that. It's like a 5-round kind of thing. If it had any kind of just normal spammer attack, it would be there for sure. Or if it had a kind of SS speed, or if it has a Ethereal instead of dodge. But yeah, you can do it with setup. And then the Frostwolf. No, not that one. This one, Frostwolf Ghost Part. It's just a great pair, especially if like you get stuck against this, or someone gets stuck against you with this. Ghostly Bite hits hard, and you just scratch and do fairly strong damage. Then you just pop the Haunting Song as well. It's just useful, and that's a massive team heal. 750, 770, 780, something like that. Another one of the new pets. Another one of these AoE kind of specky things. And this is primarily because it has great sting. Just hits ridiculously hard. Hits for nearly 900, 800 odd. Or ticks for that. Adrenaline Rush is a defensive ability once it's up quicker. And then Cleave just a spam away. Or you could kind of run Adrenaline Rush Cleave Shalama, but probably wouldn't. And finally, this is probably the closest one to making it in, because it is one of my little favourite pets. The Black Goose Bombing. If you, and I run it with Zap, Flame Jet, Armageddon, just so you diversify the damage a little bit. And it's hard. So you kind of just burn a few cooldowns as quickly as possible, and then before your Racial Pox, just Armageddon. And then you're going to do a K damage across the team, plus if you can get, say, these two off, that's another 800 damage, and that's just crazy. You can probably get a K damage, realistically, a 2K damage with this pet. Usually, I found I take out the first pet, so I actually diminish the effectiveness of Armageddon, but it's very good. It has only just missed out. So yeah, that's my my tier list. If you think I've missed anything, I probably have. Then yeah, let me know. But you thought about this for a little while. It is hard. It is actually hard because it's so easy to miss stuff. And then when you do miss things, it's like, oh, where does this go? How can I fit this in now? So yeah, it isn't as straightforward as you think. Or maybe it is. Maybe you know. So if you do, I'm sure you can put in the comments. But yeah, and if you know, think of anything else that would be really cool, or a pet that's perhaps underrated or not used or something like that, then yeah, let me know, because it could be something that, or if it's your secret, then don't, but it could be something that I could play in my next video or something if you wanted to. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you found this useful, and I'll see you in the next video.